A možda da ga pomeriš negdje, a? Evo ga, ja mislim da je krenuo.
Da?
Live, pa evo, ali nema...
Automatski ti se prebacuje na Wi-Fi.
A изключи от храма да ти не е на храм пребачено, може провериш. Не бе близко тук го оставя, може мрежа тук нема, може не има, не знам, не знам. Да, кај мене може не фаќам мрежа.
Окей. Ja mislim da sam uživo sada. Može neko da ide na moj profil da vidi da li sam uživo? Možda ideš, Gita Seva. Nasti budira yuktasya Nacha yuktasya bhavana Nacha bhavayata shantir Ashantasya kutasukam. Jel ima?
Da, jest.
Jeste?
Jest. Ali nema, mislim, ne vidi se ništa.
A, to je dobro što se ne vidi. Nasti budira yuktasya Nacha yuktasya bhavana Nacha bhavayata shantir Ashantasya kutasukam. Translation. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace, and how can there be any happiness without peace? Purport. Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter, 529, that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, then that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace, however much he may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life. Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. Nasti udir ayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nachabhavayata shantir ashantasya kutasukam. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Everybody understands English? You said you don't understand English? You understand? Okay. So this is a very important verse from the Bhagavad Gita. It explains how happiness is related to peace, and peace is related to steady mind, and steady mind is related if one can have a steady mind and one is connected to Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. So today we will speak about how to be connected to Krishna, and we will give 2 ways how to be connected to Krishna, 2 simple ways that Krishna has kindly given us to always be connected to Him, to think of Him, to worship Him, to hear about him. To always remember him and never forget him. So this class can easily be called Japa and Gita. Japa and Gita. Japa is private chanting or individual chanting on the beats, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and Kirtan is when we chant together, sing together. And Krishna has given process, chanting of the holy names is a Yuga Dharma for this age. Process of self-realization and God realization by chanting the holy names of the Lord. These three names, Hare Krishna and Rama, are not material sound vibrations. They come from the spiritual world. And God Himself comes to show us by example. He appears as Lord Chaitanya to show us by example how to chant the holy names of the Lord and attain love of Krishna and attain higher consciousness. So how do we connect with God? We connect with God through sound. Sound incarnation. Holy name is a sound incarnation. And it is said that holy name is no different from God. It is said that Nija Sarva Shaktis, in Shikshashtaka, the only written 8 verses that Lord Chaitanya has left, it says that, my dear Lord, you have invested all your energies in your holy names. But I'm so unfortunate that I don't have attraction for them. So we have thousands and thousands of devotees all over the world chanting the holy names of the Lord. But how many of them are chanting the holy names attentively and with feeling? We may be chanting for many years. There is one verse which we may say it's a discouraging verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bahu janma kariyadi shravana kirtana tabutana paya Krishna pade premadana. You can continue chanting life after life with offenses and not attain love of God. So therefore, devotees have courses about how to improve the quality of chanting the holy names of the Lord. How to chant more seriously, how to be more focused. So we can chant our rounds to finish them. Chant to finish them and then put the beads away and say, now I am free. I have finished my rounds. But I'm sometimes making a joke and say, imagine you have chanted 16 rounds. It took 2 to 3 hours to chant 16 rounds. And you just finished and you took your beads and you want to put them away and somebody taps you on your shoulder and you take a look and see Krishna has come. And you're wondering why Krishna has come. And Krishna says, because he can read our mind, he sees our question. We are asking why you have come. And he says, because you are calling me for 2 hours. And then he says, you chanted so nicely, although quite inattentively, but it was still sincere. And I know sometimes you looked at your phone, maybe about 108 times during 3 hours, but I'm so pleased with your chanting that I wanted to ask you to chant 16 more rounds. And you say, Krishna, that's too much. Are you joking? I am sweating and struggling and my mind is reeling all over the universe, and finally I have finished my rounds, and now you say you want 16 more rounds. I'm going to die. It's so hard. I have to go to work, I have to bring children to kindergarten. Here is a kindergarten. I have to cook, I have to eat, I have to go to the toilet, I have to go to the bathroom to take a shower, and I have to do so many things. Treba mi jedna maramica ako ima. Ako ima neka maramicu. Imam nešto u ustavu pa moram da obrišem. Jednu samo. Ne treba paketić. Hvala. Hvala. Dakle, bakte koji mantraju jako puno godina, koji su se posvetili ozbiljnom mantranju, devotees who chant for many years and who dedicated themselves seriously to chanting, senior devotees, they sometimes give courses or retreats or workshops how to chant better, especially how to chant Japa. So we have Sachinanda Swami or Mahatma Prabhu or some other devotees. They are teaching us how to dedicate these 2 or 3 hours very seriously to the holy name without interruption. And when we had a program for Shiva Ratri at Bhavana Prabhu's place, we were speaking about creating a club of devotees who want to chant 16 rounds in one go. 16 rounds in one go, that's like climbing Mount Everest without interruption, and especially without looking at this guy here, without looking at the phone. Nowadays it's so difficult. The phone is like part of our body. So if you put it in another room, then it starts to ring, then you have to rush and pick it up. Or turn it off, turn the sound off, and then you just try to focus on the holy name. And then the mind goes all over the place. So therefore, I have created a handbook called Spiritual Partnership Guide, and one of the ways to have this spiritual partnership is Japa partnership, where 2 devotees support each other in chanting Japa every day. They discuss, they meet maybe a few times a week and discuss, how is your Japa going? I sometimes ask devotees, how is your holy name? And they say, oh, it's all over the place. I chant here and there and everywhere, and I skip the syllables and skip the names, and I think about so many things. It's so hard. And my mind always wants to do something else, wants to watch the screen, wants to watch the video, wants to send some messages and see what are the news, what is Donald Trump doing, or his enemies, what are they doing, and things like that. So, therefore, we need to repeatedly hear about the value of chanting, and about the value of the holy name, and about the power of the holy name. You chant so nicely when we chant kirtan and bhajan. You chant so nicely, you are completely absorbed. But japa is also necessary. We need both japa and kirtan. Kirtan is a little bit, it has element of entertainment, but japa is pure yagya and pure sacrifice. It's just the holy name and the sound of the holy name and our focus, our concentration. And what I do, first half hour, I play Srila Prabhupada's tape and chant together synchronized with him. And I don't know how many rounds I chant in half an hour, maybe about 3 rounds. Because I don't chant very fast, and I need more than 10 minutes per round. So also Srila Prabhupada's chanting with that speed on that tape, it takes 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think, for him to complete. But if you see Srila Prabhupada Japa, which he finishes in 2 hours, then the speed is like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Somebody put his voice on fast track, faster, and then finishing 16 rounds in 2 hours. But you cannot breathe if you chant so fast. You cannot breathe. And you can do it mechanically, and I don't know, this is not very good chanting, I think. Therefore I don't chant like this. So then when we listen to Srila Prabhupada every day, then we pick up on his mood. His mood is very humble and very devotional, and also there is even a melody, but we don't focus on the melody, but this melody is an expression of his devotion and his feeling for the holy name and for Krishna. And this gives us like a boost for the rest of the japa also. These first 3 rounds give us a boost, and then we can continue to chant. And now you may say, well, 16 rounds in one go, it's very difficult. I cannot do that right now. Then I say, okay, 4 times 4. 4 rounds without interruption, then then you can maybe have a little break, maybe drink a little water or stretch or go to the bathroom, and then you continue next 4 rounds without interruption, without phone, without anything. If you really have to look at the phone, then in between these 4, you can take a look and see if anything is urgent. But better don't look if you can. Don't look at the phone. Or I get ideas when I chant, I get quotes that I want to share with the world and with devotees, something very nicely sounding, some wisdom or something, and I want to share it immediately on Facebook. And so sometimes I just write it to some other place and then copy later. So we don't want to get entangled in between 4, and then get carried away. Between 3 to 5 minutes, if you want to make a break, okay. But we want to show Krishna that we are serious about the holy name, and that the holy name, we know holy name is not different from Him. We want to show Him. And nobody will push us to do that, but it's our time with Krishna. We also build our relationship with Krishna. And if you do that, then you can see how your day is different. How your consciousness is different during the day. How your intelligence is better during the day. How you are more calm, more peaceful. And if some agitation comes, and some disturbance comes, then you are more intelligently able to deal with this and not get carried away, not get provoked. If somebody comes and provokes you and insults you or something, you don't beat him up, but you do something more intelligent. So this holy name is the main connection with Krishna. So Kirtanya Sadahari, it is said, always chant. Now you may say, well, I sometimes chant without beats. And I try to chant, sada means always, try to chant non-stop, even without beats. That's very nice. But in order to improve our chanting, we need support of devotees who wants to improve their chanting. And we want to supervise each other voluntarily. We want to discuss how it is going for you. And we give a report to a devotee who is also serious about his japa. And then we discuss difficulties that we face in chanting, but that's connected to this verse. You have one who is not connected with Krishna in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor steady mind. These are huge things. Transcendental intelligence, steady mind. These are huge statements of Krishna. And without a steady mind, there is no peace. Without peace, there is no happiness. So this is about happiness. Peace is described in 529 at the end of the 5th chapter. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukhridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Krishna is the supreme master. Krishna is the best friend. And one who understands this, he can have supreme peace. He can be peaceful. Srila Prabhupada said that these three things we need to preach to people. These three things. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Bhokta, he is the enjoyer of all tapasya, all austerities, all efforts. So when you do something, you think, I'm offering this to Krishna, I'm doing this for Krishna. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he is the master of all lokas, all the planets and all the demigods. Maha Ishvara means great controller, great master. And Sukhridam Sarvabhutanam, he is the best friend of all living entities. So do you believe that God is your best friend? You may say yes, but then when there is trouble, then this faith becomes shaken. Why I'm in trouble? I'm struggling so hard to practice spiritual life, but I'm in trouble. So, Srila Prabhupada said, they gave me a title of Bhaktivedanta, but I have neither Bhakti nor Vedanta. I have neither devotion nor knowledge. But one thing I have a strong faith in the holy name of the Lord. If you have nothing, but you have a strong faith in the holy name of the Lord, then chant always and chant anyway. I have written a little poem called Chant Anyway and connected it to the statement from Adi Purana that Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes in his Sharanagati collection of poems, where he glorifies the holy name. So, your mind is distracted when you chant, but chant anyway. You think about lusty desires when you chant, chant anyway. You chant late at night, chant anyway. You are always chasing your rounds whole day, chant anyway. You have no taste for chanting, chant anyway. But because you know theoretically that only holy name will save me. So the holy name is powerful, simple, powerful way to connect with Krishna always and everywhere, at all times, everywhere, any place. Always we can instantaneously connect with Krishna. George Harrison, when he was in the airplane in turbulence, he started to chant loudly because he knew, I'm finished now. If this airplane crashes, so I had to chant it. He was chanting loudly. There is unlimited things to be said about chanting Japa and chanting the holy name, but we have a limited time, and I want to switch to the second way to connect with Krishna, which here Krishna says one has to be connected to Krishna in Krishna consciousness, and that's Gita, Bhagavad Gita, this book. We all either read or we are reading, or we have it on our shelf, or we have it on our phones. But the question is how much we are reading the Word of God. How much we believe in the Word of God, how much we understand the Word of God, and how much this Word of God is our connection with the God. When we open Bhagavad Gita, do we feel, Krishna is here, I feel connected? So, you may take Bhagavad Gita and try to read and fall asleep. And may say, I don't understand this. So you don't feel that it's your connection with Krishna. But if you read again and again, and if you discuss with devotees, and if you read every single day, and if you listen to the audio book of Bhagavad Gita, then slowly you will start to feel, this really connects me with Krishna. Gita connects me with Krishna. Bhagavad Gita connects me with Krishna. I have a Facebook profile called Gita Seva. I purposefully chosen this so that I can remember that I want to be a servant of Bhagavad Gita. So I was serving Bhagavad Gita by translating it. I was serving Bhagavad Gita by distributing it. Now I'm serving Bhagavad Gita by teaching it, by helping devotees to apply the principles of Bhagavad Gita for their success. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme success manual. All the main principles of success are in the Bhagavad Gita. And today's success teachers, professionals, they steal from the Bible and steal from the Gita and become very famous as great teachers how to live a wonderful life on this planet. But all these principles are timeless, and they are here in the scriptures of all religions. But as Srila Prabhupada says in the introduction, you will find in the Bhagavad Gita everything you can find in other scriptures, but much more. Much more you will find. So I was fortunate to be connected with the Gita since 82. This is like in another century. And first it was not Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, it was some other Bhagavad Gita. But somehow I felt attracted, didn't know why. Although I didn't understand everything, there was no purports. There was only translation of the verses. And I was thinking, why this is spoken on the battlefield? Wisdom should be spoken in the mountain, where there is a little hut, and the wise man, his teacher, is there living peacefully in the nature, and he is very wise. He has left all this material world and the material society and all people full of material desires. He is renounced, and he will teach me some wisdom. But now, as we are living in very turbulent times, we see that wisdom also can be spoken and applied on the battlefield. Now the whole life is like a battlefield. So, Japa and Gita. Gita is also great connection. If you read it, you will feel connected more and more. And you can always speak with devotees if you don't understand anything. Even if you're a devotee and you don't understand. Now, if you're a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness between 20 and 30 years, and when you read Bhagavad Gita, you say, actually, I don't understand this for 30 years. So you can ask someone, and sometimes, you see that, wow, now I understand. After so many years, you can have this realization. So this is what I want to recommend to you, that you try to take shelter of the holy name and take shelter of the Word of God. This will connect you with God in a very powerful way. Don't just put it on the shelf, and don't just, when you finish Japa, don't just put it on the shelf or neglect it. Just somehow develop a very intimate relationship with your beads, with your Japa, carry it with you, and with your book, Bhagavad Gita, carry it with you, even physically be with them, and it will remind you of Krishna. Krishna says, of sacrifices, I am Japa. So we are doing sacrifice, yagya, sankirtan yagya, in order to purify our heart. But inattentiveness is the main offense. All offenses in chanting come from inattentiveness. So practice focusing, pray to Krishna for attentiveness, and your chanting will become of a greater quality, and you will feel great benefit of chanting with focus and with concentration and with greater seriousness and sincerity, and you will feel that connection. Why people suffer? People suffer because they don't feel connection with God, who is source of everything. So these are two very simple ways that mercifully God has given. Take advantage of this, and you will feel peace, and you will feel also happiness in this very, very troublesome world and these turbulent times. And when there is big trouble, you will not lose your head like many people will panic or do, I don't know, silly things. But you will be able to help people to be more calm in the storm and try to protect themselves, their physical life, but also protect their souls from illusion, which is more important even than protecting the body. And you will do very valuable service, and you will attract the attention of God by doing this kind of sacrifice, helping people to be God conscious in difficult times. So these two wonderful means of connecting with God will help us in difficult times. And then you will be a witness. You will be a witness of miracles, various kinds of miracles. So thank you very much for listening. And do you have any questions maybe about this connecting with God? Thank you for coming today. We're very happy to see visitors, and take advantage of this wonderful temple. Here also you can do service, you can help whenever you can during the week. Service is also transcendental, and the temple is a place where we can also do various kinds of services. But you can also, wherever you are, you can tell people and invite people to come here if you feel that it's beneficial for you. And Krishna is very pleased when we bring other people to Krishna consciousness, and it helps our own spiritual advancement. Okay? Yes?
Can you chant anywhere?
Can you chant anywhere?
That's the question.
Yes, you can chant anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. At least this is what I understood. Do you have any objections? You can chant anywhere. If you feel embarrassed to chant maybe in the WC, then you can chant in the mind. If you feel embarrassed to chant aloud, not you, but anybody. Yeah, one can chant anywhere. Okay, so anyway, let's have kirtan now. Can we have a kirtan? Hare Krishna. Možemo kirtan da imamo, a? Još malo da pričamo. Aha. Okay, if there is no questions, then we can go to the next part of the program, which is kirtan. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Uttara Gora Sundar ki jai.